Also, be kind. This is my first time reading this particular ad read. We used to have like pre-roll, like podcast pre-roll ads that Sarah did, who hasn't worked here in a couple of years. And one of my mentors has been encouraging me to do my own ad reads. So this might take an extra try or two.
That's not a problem. Let me know if we need to rephrase something. Also, as I said, I tend to be talkative, so I think we're going to be fine.
Perfect. All right. Welcome back to the Predictable Revenue Podcast. I'm your host, Colin Stewart. I'm going to try that again. Welcome to the Predictable Revenue Podcast, where sales leaders teach you what's working for them so you can build it yourself. Welcome back to the Predictable Revenue Podcast. I'm your host, Colin Stewart, and today I'm joined by Moran Mizrahi, the founder at Rebillia, and we're going to talk product market fit. But first, this episode is brought to you by Predictable Revenue's Founder Coaching. Founders, let's be real. Scaling a company is tough. You're juggling product, revenue, hiring, and a million other decisions. But what if you had a proven framework and expert guidance to help you navigate the chaos? That's where our coaching program comes in. Whether you're trying to find your first customers or fine-tune your go-to-market strategy, we help you build a business that scales predictably. See, I worked the name of the podcast in there. Now, let's get to the episode. Moran, thank you so much for joining me today. I'd love to start with, where did the idea for Rebillia come from?
Awesome. First of all, let me say thank you so much for having me today. My name is Moran Mizrahi, co-founder here at Rebillia. We are a subscription management platform. What we're doing is billing automation and subscription, however, in a very adjustable and flexible way. So this is our added value. And we started Rebillia, and that's actually our third product under Rebillia umbrella. So this is, in a way, a new company, a new venture. And originally, we have launched Rebillia due to our own frustration in the arena of subscription. So we used to be in retail. That's my background. And then in e-commerce for quite a few years, we did really well in e-commerce. And we find out that we're chasing a client, we're bringing the clients, that's cost an arm and a leg. They purchasing, they happy, and some of them do come back. However, the effort is endless. You always have to reinvent the wheel and keep bringing clients, because once your client likes the product, they might gonna go and buy it somewhere, right? So the goal is really to find a way to create ARR and LTV, and that's what subscription is all about. And we have tried different arenas of subscription, and we find that it's not as user-friendly and not customer-centric. And we wanted to find some approach that bring revolution to this arena. So that's where we decide, if no one else can do this well enough, we should. And that's what we gathered the team, and the idea become a product. I want to say pretty quickly, but not really quickly as much as with a lot of effort. I would say years of development and working very hard to get to where we are today. So here we are.
Was there a specific moment in time where you thought, this could be better? Was there, you were trying to fill out one of those like billing platforms links and you're like, just frustrated, and that was the inspiration? Or was it just accumulation of everybody's shared experience?
You've probably been trying products before when you thought, if anyone actually tried that, like anyone took the full step to try it from A to Z, because there were so many obstacles. With that being said, nowadays I know that those obstacles had a reason, obviously, and that we have a lot to overcome. And sometimes you just go and you think, oh, this can be so much better if I will do this versus that. And along the way, trying to fix the system, you find out it is way more difficult than where you thought it would be. However, we have walked the walk and we came up with a pretty great product. I think product-wise, we're pretty much in a great place. Obviously, there's every other company, there's other obstacles, but product-wise, I think Rebillia is in a really good spot, because we really emphasize on the R&D, the product, what is it that we're really trying to achieve, and how we take in this walk all the way through. And I think that what's unique about us is really our super flexible, adjustable product that really not just looking at subscription, right? Of course, we're doing subscription and this is great. And I think the world moved towards subscription.
Mm-hmm.
However, we took the arena of subscription and looked in the pain points and the frustration and said, we want to do this differently. And we came up with a product that is super flexible and really look at the clients, as mentioned, and understand what the clients want.
Mm.
And actually, we no longer even need to educate the market that the merchant should look into what their clients want to be successful. So this is what's great about our product, and I think that's just clicked.
Fantastic. So you had the idea about we're going to tackle the subscription space, which is a big market, and there's some big competitors in there. How did you validate the idea? So talk to me about going from the thought of, hey, we should start Rebillia to, you know what, we've decided 100% this is it. Did you interview customers? Did you find groups? What did that process look like?
So to be perfectly honest, and we're talking 10 years ago as young entrepreneurs, we've been a bit more impulsive about things. But over the year, we, of course, learned our lesson and correct on the way. With that being said, I think that's what's been really helpful, that we've been in those shoes before. So we came, each and every one of us, or not each and every one of us, but the main co-founders in Rebillia came from the arena of retail, e-commerce. We had those two experience, seeing how the world growing from retail to e-commerce, how the different cost of acquisition look like in those two arena, and what does it cost really to bring a client, and how important it is to leverage on subscription to create LTV. And I think that's one thing that gave us 80% more on other companies. They just really asking the questions and interviewing, which we did as well. But with that being said, we actually had the experience. We came from this arena, we knew exactly what's bothered us. And we, even more than that, sometimes the client doesn't even know what they want before it's been invented. You can only, as a client, you can only pursue what you know, right? Or you can only dream what you're dreaming, right? But we actually add some deeper understanding of what if this could whole thing look different. So I think that's been a big advantage to really, I want to say we've been lucky to create a great product with a wonderful product market fit up front. However, it's not really the luck that's brought us there. It's really the experience. With that being said, I do think every founder need to go and ask as many questions and validate the product to a lot more as what we did back in the days 10 years ago. With our newest versions and our products along the way and different versions, of course, we took more steps to understand deeply what the client needs. It's been a bit easier as we already had paying clients, and we've been really keeping an open channel to understand needs and actually execute. So I think that's also frustration that we solved by not just listening and asking questions, but also being really agile about bringing solution to clients. And really for every specific feature or interest that the client showed, if we find out that makes sense for a few more clients, we've been very agile about thinking this through and bring an innovation to the product.
I wonder if you could walk me through where your first customers came from.
So I think one of the biggest thing that we did as a new company is aligning with the marketplace. I think that trying to bring clients by your own versus always rely on an ecosystem is two different things. You should try to do both. but we've been partnering we started with BigCommerce, then we partnered with a few other channels and a few other marketplaces. And I think that's really the best way to bring clients.
And I'd love to understand and hear the story of tell me about the story of closing your first customer on Rebillia.
So I think that the story of closing first client is always about leave a heavy impression. So either to make him feel like you know exactly what he needs and exactly what you're doing. So the question of, wait, you have never tried this on someone else before, versus the actual need to start with a beta and give your product for free. So those are your two options. Either come with a lot of security and sell a really good solution and allow your client trust you and be willing to pay for it, versus I think a lot of startups just giving their product for free to gain trust. Both methods are actually great, and it sometimes could be easier to just give your product for free. But we have tried the other way around. We have really emphasized of our success in the e-commerce arena and allowed the first client to understand that we see the frustration, we see his pain, we understand that those pain points, and took the approach of we tried on ourselves, this is working. If you want this magic to come towards you, you should give that a try. And I think one of the most fascinating things about what we did, we sold the product so well that we created a waiting list. So we actually had paying clients paid us in advance to be enrolled into the platform. So I think we did something pretty great and unique in that essence of giving the clients the feel that we have the right approach, that we know what we're doing, and that if they be patient, they will get a really good solution. And sometimes it's a matter of momentum. Now, obviously, we have started more than 10 years ago with those older versions that we had, so that no longer exist, by the way. So the market was not as competitive as today. And we've been really taking an approach of our main competitor being industry giants. And I think one of the most appealing thing for our clients is that we've been a startup, new, innovative, coming from where they walked. And I think that also they've talked directly with us versus with some account manager. So we could have give them a very, I would say, special treatment. So I think that's what kind of brought us the first few clients, and things have rolled from there.
Love it. Describe the moment that you realized you might have product market fit.
You know what? I think a funny thing is that a lot of the time you need to build confidence in your product, or that's the belief. But I think whoever really build confidence is your product is the reaction to your product. That's how you know you have a product market fit. When you talk with a client and he is excited as much as you are, or sometimes even more, right? The first few calls, the first few conversations, you are insecure, perhaps. You're trying to educate, you maybe get ready to give your little spiel. And then when you find out that the client is actually interested, that's when you know you have a good product market fit. I think also that a funny thing for us that when we have planned the product, we're thinking, oh, those three verticals gonna be the best. But then we talk with people and they've said, oh, you know what? And they shift the conversation towards other things they need or other things they have. And that's where they have a point. So to give you an example, sometimes we talk with investors and we talking about the multi-layer of subscription, for example, and the payment automation. And we're trying to emphasize how this will be a great investment to those in those verticals. And they goes, wait 1 second, if I take this to my business, I'm as an investor investing in so many other businesses, and I have to look at each one differently. With your product, I can look at all of them in once. And here you created a product market fit. Here you created a vertical. So I think that was something pretty excited. We have really invested deeply into a product. And I think that we've been just happy to see that the market replies correctly. And I think a lot of this confidence being built by our client, and a lot of the great ideas, great features, great options actually came from the market. So I think every business have obstacles, so do we. But I think that product market fit have not been such a big obstacle for us due to the really deep understanding of what the market needs.
Amazing. So what comes next?
So another way to answer that is to actually mention that our product right now is really robust, and we don't invest in sales or marketing. We have great traction from mid-market and enterprise. That is a lot to handle, and that's changed a lot of things. We moved from selling to a lot of SMBs. That is a bit our bread and butter, I would say, to this new robust software and bringing new ocean of flexibility and customer understanding. And so the next thing will be to start enrolling those enterprises, which is, it seems like a rich people problem to have, right? We have a good product, we have traction, they want us, we want them. Seems like easy peasy, but obviously it's not that way. There is some way to take here, and approach that need to be taken, and measures that need to be think about and prepare to. So that's our next step, to enroll a few more enterprises into the software. We also have a few other things on the roadmap that are new features. We've just launched a wonderful feature. Not just we had this feature for a year, but a lot of other companies taking on it right now. You might have noticed that the world's moving to ecosystem where everything works together. So we have a great feature that is a partnership feature where you can probably sell your products, product A, on subscription, and then you can partner with other products, and on your own platform, on your own website or software, you can sell goods or other services on subscription. And this is stream of revenue that you never had before. So we're combining those into flexible subscription options, and that is a really big next thing as the world's moving to rely on ecosystems.
I love it. If people are interested in Rebillia or they want to get in touch with you, what's the best way for them to reach out?
So our website is a great way to go, www.rebillia.com. And you can find me on LinkedIn, Moran Mizrahi Rebillia. Easy to find. I'm always happy to chat. And I think those are the best ways.
Fantastic. Moran, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed talking with you.
Right on. And thanks to everybody for listening. We'll catch y'all next time.